advertising is the tax paid by a business that is unremarkable. Man. Yes, I've advertised some. I don't know who said that. It wasn't me. But whoever said it was really adamant about the topic that I'm about to speak on. I mean, you advertising means that you are unremarkable. Whew. That just makes me sweat. I'm thinking, oh, Lord, that's true. But you can't stop marketing or advertising. But maybe we can do it better. Right? Maybe we can do it better. I talk a little bit about talk triggers or word of mouth advertising. 91% of B2B businesses are heavily influenced by word of mouth. Probably more of that in retail sales. Word of mouth, not Super Bowl advertisings. Just millions of dollars. Word of mouth is what? What? Free. But is it? Not really. It's not really free. But it's more free than anything else out there. Stuff that you can do can totally influence your word of mouth participation, engagement, use. 91% of B2B. That's incredible. But how come with something so effective, and you ask every CEO in the world, it doesn't matter, what's the most effective and cost effective and efficient advertising in the world? They're going to say word of mouth every single time. So why is there no strategy? How many corporations have a word of mouth strategy? They'll have a marketing strategy, a sales strategy, a DIY strategy, diversity and inclusion strategy, how to look like a cat strategy, all kinds of strategies. But word of mouth strategy, it takes care of itself. Let's just give great customer service and people will talk about us. No, not anymore. Because they expect great customer service. That's not outstanding. It's not remarkable. Not anymore. You got to go above and beyond. You got to do something really special. And you really need to have a plan. I mean, I just can't. I can't understand why people don't go for this. But it's not normal. It's not what people did. It wasn't taught in business classes 30 years ago. One great example, Cheesecake Factory. What are they known for? Actually, yeah, they're cheesecakes, but the size of their freaking menu, it's like a Atlanta, Georgia phone book back in the 90s. In fact, you had to have 3 of them. I moved to Atlanta one time, and they delivered 3 yellow pages. I was like, why? Somebody made a mistake. I don't have 3 phones. Back then they would generally give you how many phone books, how many phones you had. And I only had 1 phone, so I could afford a little studio apartment. 3 phone books. I was like, they made a mistake. Then I realized, nope, they're alphabetical. They needed 3 phone books. They were thick. They were thick. So that's what the Cheesecake Factory menu reminds me of. And people talk about it. They talk about it a lot. It's pretty incredible. And it's getting pretty cold out here. Can you see? That's a talk trigger. And they did do that on purpose. Believe it or not. They did it on purpose. People talk about it. It works. In fact, they did a study on the customers, cheesecake customers, hundreds and thousands of them. And basically 38% of the people actually went there and would talk about the menus after the fact to somebody that had not been to Cheesecake Factory. What would 38% look like in your business if somebody talking about it for free? Now, earlier when I said it's not necessarily free, they did have to purchase and present and make and produce the menus. Okay, so there's your cost. But you got to have a menu anyway, right? Might as well have it effective. 38% of people. And the keys here, I've got them down. The keys to it. Having a great talk trigger. It's got to be remarkable, obviously. Got to be remarkable. It's got to be repeatable. That's kind of the hard part. Got to be repeatable. The menu is very repeatable. It's on every table. They give it to every single person that walks in the door. They don't skip a beat. They give that talk trigger to every single person that walks in the door. Even people that are leaving for the go menu, they give them one. It's not as big. Go on their website, and it takes up, half a gig. Repeatable, yeah, it's got to be reasonable. Right? It really has to be reasonable. You can't say, okay, every guest that comes in today is going to win a ticket to, a cruise, a 21-day European cruise. That's not really reasonable. And it's got to be relevant to your business. Let's say a menu. No, let's say something else. The cookie that DoubleTree Motel uses as their talk trigger. And yes, that's done on purpose. It's what separates them from the rest of their motels. The warm cookie at the DoubleTree Hotel. I mean, I can smell it now. I'm not kidding. How did I learn about DoubleTree Motels? Somebody was ecstatic about this free cookie they got every time they went. I was like, well, I got to try that. I couldn't afford DoubleTree Motels at the time. But I scrounged up, the next trip I went on, scrounged up enough money to go to DoubleTree just so I could have a freaking cookie. And it was a great cookie. It was an expensive cookie. It was a good cookie. It's the only reason I went there. Losing my voice. A cookie. Maybe I should do that at Postal Annex. Do it. Been doing it for a year and a half. This is a saying. I loved it. I had to write it down. It said, not me. But service is a mindset, right? Customer service. Service is a mindset, right? So it's not a job. This is written down part. Service is a mindset, not a job. If you want your clients or your customers to talk about you, you have to be aware of your surroundings. You have to be aware of what they expect and then do what they don't expect. Get it? Be aware of what they do expect and do something they don't expect. It's just remarkable.